Are you all ready to join me today in our trip to outer space?
Come along quietly or not.
I will talk to you of art. For there is nothing else. Some artist bait a hook.
Yes.
You bite upon it.
And now, without further ado,
they were positive that he was saying Albert, and then there's Uncle Al. Yes, folks, did you hear that? Correct. Thank you.
Hello, folks. This is Albert Shivers, and you are listening to yet another episode of the Planet Shivers podcast, coming to you directly from Planet Shivers itself. Today, we're going to have a bite-size episode for you, almost like an appetizer. I don't get appetizers at restaurants because I think they're a waste of time, but this podcast is not a waste of time. It's going to be a very fun episode. I'm joined by my amazing, lovely, fun sister, Gabby. She's going to jump on in a little bit, but before we get to that, I just want to cover with you guys a little bit of what I've been up to lately.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Hey, 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 I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Hey, hey, I'm gonna die. Oh,
First off, the facelift revitalization project of my Instagram and Facebook art pages is going very smoothly. You could check those out on Instagram at Albert Shivers and on Facebook, Albert Shivers Visual Artist. Now, I just finished a big Amy Winehouse piece. That'll be online very soon. You could see it on those said pages before. And I'm also starting a new series, which I'm very excited about, which is going to be a ink series that's going to feature female race car drivers from around the world. The first driver, which I've already begun to work on in this series, is Amna Al-Kwabasi. She is from the United Arab Emirates, but believe it or not, she was born in Washington, Virginia in March of 2000. She was the first Arab female driver to run in Formula 4 and also in Formula E, which are both like lower divisions of Formula 1. So in other words, it's like the farm team for Formula 1. Her and her sister also race. Her father was a famous race driver. He ran the 24 Hours of Le Mans and got 2 podium finishes, which means he finished in the top 3, his group of drivers. So she's one of my favorites of the global female drivers. And what's unique, what I like about auto racing, is that it doesn't matter, man or woman. You strap behind the wheel of that car and you're all equal. It's the great equalizer. And there are a lot of female drivers at lower level right now who are winning races and working their way up the ladder. And my hope that is in my lifetime, I get to see female drivers succeed at the highest levels of motorsports. Now, there have been a lot of female success in the NHRA, which is drag racing. John Force, who is the biggest name in drag racing, his daughters, Brittany Force and Courtney Force, have combined to win championships. They've won races. So drag racing is very integrated in terms of male-female drivers. I want to see the other major forms of racing get to that level. So I'm doing this new art series for racing fans. I wanted so long to marry my interest in racing with art, and I never quite found something that really clicked in my head. But the idea of doing a series of female drivers to give them a little attention and to be able to combine 2 things I love the most is very exciting. And I'm going to be posting progress shots and finish shots all over social media, so you could check that out on the pages I mentioned before. I hope you guys enjoyed last week's episode, The Shivers List. If you haven't heard it, check it out. It's where I go through a list of my biggest art inspirations. I did part 1 last week. Part 2 is going to be coming up soon. And now let's bring Gabby on.
Why does an ocean roar? Hell, you'd roar too if you had that many crabs on your bottom.
When you were in school,
Yeah.
no matter what grade, it doesn't matter. Were there did kids pass around horror stories to each other, tell scary stories?
I think
And were there any that really messed you up?
Oh, yeah.
Because there were ones that messed me up.
Do you want to talk about scary stories?
Yeah, that's where I'm headed with this.
All right. See, okay, one that I think about not often, but enough, is when I'm driving. So I'll tell the story first. I won't explain when I think of it, because people be like, I don't know. So it's just I'm not going to be able to tell it right, but what I remember is this girl is driving home. It's nighttime, and then she's driving, and this car behind her starts acting wacky. Mm-hmm. Is everything okay? Should I stop?
No, I'm just looking. I'm just making sure everything... Okay, car's acting wacky behind her.
So this car's acting wacky behind her. Flashing his lights at her, beeping the horn, chasing her.
Okay, I think I know this story.
She's like, what the hell is this guy behind me? She's freaking out a little bit. This guy's following her. She's almost home. She's racing home. She's like, I need to get away from this guy. This guy won't leave her alone. This other car.
Right.
She whips into her driveway. The guy follows her into her driveway. This is where I don't know what to... But she gets out of her car. She's like, what the hell? And he's like yelling at her to get out of the car. And then someone in the back seat that was there the whole time kills her because he was driving behind her, saw this guy in the back seat trying to tell her that there's this guy in the back seat with a knife trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And she thinks it's the guy. So I think about that just in case when I'm driving. Is anyone?
I always check the back seat whenever I get in my car.
Always, I think it's a little extreme, but I do it. I don't do it.
Just a glance.
I don't do
especially
it
at night.
I don't do it right away.
My car's a 2-door.
I wait until I'm driving to think about this and be like, oh, is there someone in my car? I'm driving. I'm going on the highway, and then I have to be like looking behind me like real quick, and then I'm like, you know what? If they're in here, you're dead. So just chill.
Yeah.
But what's the one that you?
I got spooked out by the Cape Fear in the car. I was like, it's some maniac hanging on to the bottom of my car. I was more worried about that with the cruiser. Because believe it or not, the cruiser sat higher to the ground than this did.
I just rewatched that movie recently because it was on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Like, it would be impossible for somebody. He was also belt strapped into the...
Yeah.
But I'm like...
Oh, yeah, no, that's a stretch.
That's a big... But it's easier to do that, I think, than break into someone's car and wait. Unless you know how to... I don't know how to break into a car.
Right. It's not as hard as... thing. But for me, in school, there was this girl. It always comes down to a girl. Her name... It doesn't matter. Her first name was Brittany.
No.
And all the boys had a crush on this girl in my class. Mm-hmm. They all did. So if she sneezed, we all listened, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're all, we're all like trading these stupid, horror stories that aren't scaring us. And then this girl chimes in. Mm-hmm. She goes, I have a story. And of course we're like, oh yes, well listen. And she tells this story. Brittany tells us this story. She goes, and I've told you this before probably.
But yeah, I think this is a classic. Yeah. But do it.
So there's a girl, she's two parents go out. They say, just, take care of the house, we're going to go out for the night. It was her first time staying home alone. She was excited. She had the dog there, so she felt comfortable. Parents go out. And she has a fine time the whole night, hanging with the dog, watching a movie, the whole bit. Finally, it's time to go to bed. She takes her shower, makes sure the dog is good. Dog follows her into the room. Dog lays next to the bed. She goes to sleep. Next thing she hears, she wakes up a couple hours later, the dripping. She goes, man, I didn't turn the faucet off all the way. Goes in the bathroom. Tightens the faucet. Okay, fine. Gets back in bed. Puts her arm down. Dog licks her arm. Cool. Dog's still there. Goes back to sleep. She wakes up 20 minutes later. More dripping. She's like, God damn it. Now she goes to the kitchen. Tightens the faucets. Okay. Guess that was it. Back to bed. Boom. Puts her arm down. Dog licks her hand. Okay. Dog's still there. Cool. This happens a third time. She goes to the extra bathroom. Does the same thing. Okay. That must have been it. It's driving her crazy at this point. She goes back in the bed. She's like, that's got to be it now. Puts her hand down. Dog licks her hand. And she's like, okay, dog's still there. She wakes up again to dripping. She's like, damn it, I'm going to find it. She walks all around the house. And she walks back into the bathroom. Back into the first bathroom to check the sink. And she's like, well, maybe it was the shower, not the sink.
Ooh. Not
and
the shower.
She whips open the shower, the shower curtain, and there's the dog. The dog is dead with its throat slit and with blood dripping.
Oh, no.
And there's a sign taped to the dog that says humans can lick too. Gabby, that was it. That was it. It was it.
Yeah, that's a scary story. You scared me with that story.
I was, this is 7th grade, maybe 6th grade.
It stuck with you.
I was done, and I didn't have the courage. Because I was constantly, for a week, I was looking over my shoulder. And I didn't want to go in the bathroom. I didn't want to know nothing. And I was too ashamed to tell my mother why I was acting so weird. Because I knew she'd smack me.
Yeah.
Like, what are you, stupid? Like, what are you, crazy? Like, it's a story. And but that haunted me. And it would come back every once in a while.
Yeah.
Like you're saying. Like, the story scared me for about a week. And then...
It's seared in there.
Every couple of months, it would come back. And it doesn't scare me now, but it still comes back.
Yeah. It's a good story.
But that was one, the story about waking up and finding pictures of yourself on your own cell phone, sleeping.
I don't know that story.
Well, there was
kind
one
of
of
just
them.
told me the whole... Yeah.
I know, but that's the punchline is the guy wakes up and he keeps finding stories, or not stories. He keeps finding pictures of himself on his own phone.
The first time keeps finding. If it happened once, I'm freaking out.
Right, but it's a whole thing. So there's that story.
That's really freaky.
Or this one always got me. Then I'll let you go.
No, I mean,
there was one like you have a dream. It could be anybody. Doesn't matter. Person has a dream, and they wake up in this dream from the sleep in their bed. They look at the clock, and it's whatever. It's 3:18, and they look at their clock, and then their closet door starts to open in the dream, and this monster comes out, demon, whatever, and starts going at attacking them. Guy wakes up from his dreams, like, oh my god, thank God that was just a dream. He looks at the clock, and he's like, holy crap, it's 3:18, and then the closet door starts to open, and that's where the story ends. It's like he dreamt it, but it was a premonition. And then he wakes up and it's really happening. That one spooked me, but nothing as much as the dog one.
Yeah.
Because now, where my mind goes is the after.
Right. It's like what happened.
It's like, now this girl's in the house alone, her dog's dead.
How late are these parents staying out is my thing. Past their bedtime and she's like 12?
They went to the Copacabana. It never closes. I don't know.
What story did you just tell? Oh, dreams.
Yeah, dreams.
I want to bring up dreams now.
Let's talk about dreams.
I just had a dream the other night. And it just freaked me out. And it was pretty much the same exact storyline and everything. It was the movie I Am Legend.
Okay.
But I was just dreaming it. And also there was just the zombie people like talked, which they don't talk in...
No.
There's basically like, I'm gonna get you in my dream. They're like, what else can they say? They're like, I'm gonna get you. And
Did they say it like that?
No. But that's basically to sum up what they're saying. I'm gonna get you. And it's also hits close to home because it's like, it's a virus that makes them all zombies. And everyone has to leave New York, and then everyone's either dead or a zombie. So it kind of hits close to home right now.
Did you have this dream when you were in New York?
No, just a few nights ago.
Okay.
And I woke up so scared.
Yeah.
Terrified. I thought he was going to get in his truck and move it.
I had a dream a couple of weeks ago. And so how do you feel now about the dream, though? Was it like...
It's scary.
It was scary, but...
I Am Legend is scary.
Yeah.
I had a dream. Well, if you haven't seen the movie, you might not know, but when the mother and the son take him away, from save him, and he doesn't realize that they took him back in the middle of the night. So then all the zombies now know where he lives. Because they're hiding during the daytime, so that's when Will Smith can come out.
Yeah.
But he has to get home before it's not daytime anymore, because then they can come out and see where he lives.
Yeah.
So that was always his thing. And then he gets so upset one day, I think because he had to kill his dog, that he like just drove into a pile of them, and they all attack him, and somehow this woman saves him.
Yeah.
That's basically was my dream, was that whole part where like, well, you haven't seen it? Are you shaking your head?
No. I'm sorry.
No, what are you shaking
You
your
can
head?
finish.
Well, it's just that whole part. It's just already terrifying.
Did we ever watch Vincent Price, Last Man on Earth?
No.
Because
Maybe.
I Am Legend was a book before anything. Mm-hmm. Then they made the movie with Vincent Price, Last Man on Earth.
It's that old?
Yeah. So it was early 60s, 62, 63.
Was the book called I Am Legend?
I think so.
I wonder why that phrase is even...
I don't know.
Because in the movie they don't really explain that.
So they made, and it says in the opening credits of the Vincent Price, based on the book I Am Legend.
Wow.
And it's the same exact story, other than the fact that, like, I don't know if Vincent Price, I don't remember, it's been a while, I don't know if he was anything special. I think he was a scientist.
Yeah, makes sense.
And in that movie, you kind of jump in the middle of it. Like,
Yeah.
And you keep flashing back.
That's same as I Am Legend.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen bits of I Am Legend.
Oh, I've some reason have seen it, I guess, way too many times. But
yeah, you should watch it. It's fun.
Yeah. I Am Legend is now on Hulu. So I really want to watch that again.
Okay.
But it's also like, is it too close? Like, I don't know.
Because
they flash back to like, I know, but who knows what I'll feel about it.
I know. No, I know. But then they made a Last Woman on Earth.
Just kidding. Get that. Just like, come on already. Come on. Last Woman on Earth. Whoa.
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
With another actress.
What year? Like what decade?
Not too long after
Vincent Price. Okay.
But yeah. Now you got me thinking about old horror movies, but
Oh.
I had what? Okay.
Oh, sorry. Horror movies. So Albert and I, to the listeners, used to go crazy for Jennifer's Body.
Yeah.
This movie. And I haven't seen it since I was in middle school, because that's when we used to watch it a lot. Pretty much. Early high school.
We watched it all the time.
Yeah.
With commentary.
I know. I know we watched it all the time, but I'm trying to think of my age, and I think I was middle school.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen it since then, but I have the DVD. And I brought it to Brooklyn with me because I'm bringing my DVD player, this big monster. No one has DVD players anymore.
I just got a Blu-ray not too long ago.
Blu-ray. That's like the laser disc of movies.
It is.
It's like
60% BS.
But also, it's
There's
just like it
bit...
didn't last long before streaming.
No.
I don't think.
I did an idiotic amount of research before I got it to make sure it was going to be better. Because some of these this does tie back into horror movies, and I just ordered one the other day. Some of these companies that make horror movie DVDs of movies that aren't very popular, like the culty kind of movies or like the 70s exploitation movies, they will put out an old horror movie. Like I just got one, Lord Shango, which is like a 70s voodoo-y Santeria kind of movie. And I loved it, but I had this terrible copy. These companies will put out a movie on just Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And they'll only make like 1,000. Because nobody really knows this movie.
Yeah.
So they'll make about 1,000 or 3,000 of these, and then that's it. And they did it with this Lord Shango movie. And they also did it with the 1940s Stormy Weather movie, which I found one on eBay. I'm waiting for it. Waiting for the auction.
With Frank Sinatra?
Lena Horne and the other guy, Bojangles, the real Bojangles.
Stormy Weather, the musical.
Yeah. It's a movie.
I thought Frank Sinatra was in it.
He might have done another one. This was in 43.
No.
So Sinatra was
it was
on the young
before.
side for 43.
Yeah.
He was around, but he was young.
Yeah. Anyway, he might not even be in the other one. If
But,
there's another one, I don't know.
So that's what made me go down the Blu-ray route. There was a lot of movies I wanted to grab. And there are differences, but, you know.
Blu-ray.
But nobody has DVDs, really. I love them because of the extras and because I think it's happening already, but, you know, more and more they're easing commercials in on us.
Oh, yeah.
With streaming.
Yeah.
And if, you know, if for one reason or another you lose internet for a while, you can't have internet, you know, DVD, I have to pay nobody.
Yeah.
I don't need a subscription.
Right.
But I'm willing to go down with that ship. But we had Jennifer's Body on DVD. You bring your DVDs with you to Brooklyn.
And I would jokingly, because when quarantine happened, my roommates and I we would have like movie nights. Yeah. And jokingly, I'd be like, we should watch this movie, Jennifer's Body, huh? I have the DVD, but I was like, it'd be fun to watch. And then I was like, you know what? They probably won't like it. Now at this point, it's more of me joking around. Let's watch it, haha. And it was my birthday, and they were like, let's watch Jennifer's Body tonight. And I was like, no, we don't have to. And they're like, let's watch it. And let me tell you, Albert, first of all, it's kind of cringy at points. It's kind of cringy, this movie.
How so?
It's just like it's just cringy, just sometimes. It's just like that high school vibe, cringy. Yeah. Some lines.
It was big then, though.
I know. Well, I think it was big with what we liked. Yeah. Because none of my roommates got, like, they didn't get the vibe. And I was like, this is the same woman who wrote Juno. Like, that kind of humor. Yeah. But then I was like, it was kind of cringy. And I just could tell no one really enjoyed it. They were all like, it's fucking stupid. Which, I've seen it. It's just now, it's going to always have that, because I watched it a lot when I was younger. But It's like also like, I think you have to take it with such a grain, like a piece of salt.
See, I don't feel that way, but I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I think that movie was perfect for us at that time.
Yeah.
I think that the high school that Jennifer's Body was set around, it reminded me very much of Wallenpaupack. Just that small high school. Everybody knows everybody for the most part.
Yeah.
That really reminded me of this area. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't a big fan of Juno.
Oh, I love Juno.
Like...
Oh, come on.
But not that I don't like it, but I like Jennifer's Body better. Uh-huh. Because I laugh at that cringy stuff. It's funny to me. But I could understand, like, especially... If you were always in New York, probably not. And I think it has a very American youth thing. Yeah. It's like your friend from Newcastle, like, things are going to go over his head because he's from a different culture.
Right.
And I think a lot of those jokes in Jennifer's Body, not that I'm going to intellectualize Jennifer's Body because it shouldn't, because that would ruin it.
Yeah.
But a lot of those jokes are very, like, Americana thing.
Right.
Small town America. And they just don't get it. And what would that movie come out? 2008?
7,
8, 6 maybe?
7.
You know,
I think I looked it up.
And that's a different time. Like, a lot has happened. You know what I mean? That's 13 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you spring that. I still have the T-shirts.
I know.
Do you still have yours?
I never had a T-shirt.
You had one.
No.
You got one and I got 2.
What Jennifer's Body T-shirt? I never had this T-shirt. I never did. I swear to God. I swear to God. I never had this T-shirt.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe.
I don't even wear it. I want, like, someday a T-shirt's gonna put kids in college. I think so.
I don't think so.
Now, everything comes back around.
One hand washes the other.
And they both wash the face.
Hey. And she stood alone. We watched that a lot.
Experts on that movie. What was the nice comeback, Hannah Montana?
Got any more harsh takes? Yeah. Listen, that whole scene, I was like, I can recite this all right now, but I should remember everybody. It's like, she can fly. I can do it right now, but I'm not gonna do it.
Okay.
But you know I know it.
So, Let me ask you this. Before we watched that movie,
Yeah.
you got turned on to that movie.
New Perspective by Panic at the Disco.
That was and that Jennifer's body was featured in the music video.
Yeah.
And we used to watch the music videos on demand
Yeah, music videos on demand.
before streaming.
Well, technically, that is streaming.
It is streaming.
But
it was
before
like streaming
Roku.
through like your cable box, and you had like 5 options,
Yeah.
and you listen to the same songs over and over again. Yeah, no, it was fun. I remember playing that music video over and over on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I don't remember it being Thanksgiving, but I remember it being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, let's talk horror movies. What's your favorite horror movie? You could name a few.
I have to wait. I have to think about it.
Because you're into horror movies.
Horror. You know what really got me the first time I watched it? And I watched it the second time. These aren't my favorites because it's too hard.
It's all right.
You know, all right, I have a couple. So
I got a better question but go on.
this one I watched that got me the first time, and I just rewatched it, and I was like, it wasn't scary at all, was Sinister with Ethan Hawke. And he
Okay.
finds all these Super 8 films of people
Yeah.
getting slaughtered. Yeah,
Right.
that really fucked me up the first time, but... So I think the first time watch was good, the second time watch was stupid. But let me tell you a good movie that you should watch if you haven't seen it. I think you have. Midsommar.
Yes.
Oh
I
my
seen that in the movie
God.
theater.
So did I.
I didn't know what I was going in for.
Oh, well, neither did I. I just saw the picture of this girl crying
That's
on the
all
poster, and I'm
that's all
like,
I
what
seen.
is going to happen in this? Didn't know.
I didn't even know I was going to that movie until I was there.
Yeah.
Mike called me up, and he says, Albert, I got no one to go to a movie with me. Why don't you come to a movie? And I knew, you know what though? I had said no the last time he asked me.
Mm-hmm.
He dragged me to Mad Max. Not dragged me. I wanted to go. I don't really like the movies, but I went. He's my buddy. He brought me to Mad Max, and I enjoyed it. The new one with the chick with the bald head. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed that.
Uh-huh.
Then he asked me to see Hereditary.
Ooh.
Heredity.
Hereditary.
And I turned. I don't know why.
Have you seen it?
I haven't.
You should watch
Or I think I seen half of it maybe. But when he asked me to go to the movies, I didn't go. Mm-hmm. So I felt guilty.
Yeah.
Because I said no last time. So I was like, okay, fine. And that's how I seen it. I loved it. I bought it.
Well,
I want to watch it
it's
again.
also on Amazon Prime.
There's so many. Well, see, Alex Ahente, I bought it on Blu-ray. When I bought my Blu-ray player, I was a sucker. I got to buy a movie with it.
Yeah.
So that's what I bought. But there's a lot of hints. That's why I want to watch it again.
You only watched it once?
Yeah.
Rewatch it. Yeah, you have the Blu-ray and you didn't...
I know. It's hard for me to sit still.
Yeah.
And watch it.
I rewatched it when it was on Prime. You know, a friend of mine doesn't think that should be considered a horror movie. And I find that interesting because I was pretty horrified. It's just creepy.
Yeah.
Would you think it's a horror movie? What would you name? Psychological thriller, I guess, but I think it's scary.
I would put it somewhere in between the two.
Yeah. Yeah, she sent me a whole list of just horror movies that she edits with her friends, and they add horror movies. All these people add horror movies to this list.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And that was on it?
I think.
Or she didn't put it on it because she didn't consider it.
I think she put
horror.
it on, and then in parentheses is I don't really think this should be on here.
Okay.
It was, you know what? And now I'm getting confused. I don't know if she said that about that movie or The Shining. She might have said about The Shining is horror. So
Shining should definitely be horror.
Yeah, I think she said Midsommar. I don't know why I'm getting that confused. I guess The Shining is my favorite horror movie.
It's a good one.
I mean, it's all right. I just rewatched it and I'm like,
what do you look for in a horror movie?
I want to get creeped out, but I don't like gore. I just watched all the Hostels.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, this is just gross, and it's not scaring me. Something scary ooh. I guess I like ghosts. I don't know. I guess I like ghosts if I like The Shining. I like. What do I look for? Not a lot. Don't jump scare me. There's not one. I don't know if that's true, but I'm gonna say there's not one jump scare in The Shining. I don't think that's true though.
Probably not.
I think there's like one jump, like no stupid jump scares, you know?
Right, yeah.
That's like automatically knocks you
Well,
down.
yeah, it's cheap. Well, it's like when what's her face? Amanda Seyfried thinks Jennifer's in the house, and then she's not, and then she turns around, boom, there she is.
Yeah.
All with that black stuff.
It's like, shut up. Shut up. Anyone can do that. Anyone can cut to something really quick and put a little violin noise under it.
What about, so there are horror movies now, these guys, they're getting slick, where they will scare you with a jump scare without a jump scare. So in other words, we, the viewer, know the formula so well by now that we can say there's a jump scare coming.
And you just, the tense.
And it tenses you up, but then it never happens.
Yeah.
And it just leaves you like, ugh. I've seen that a few times lately in horror movies.
You know what a horror movie screwed me up a little bit that I had to stop it at 10 minutes in? What? I got Shudder in the beginning of quarantine. Remember this? When I got Shudder?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good movies on there, but there's this German one, and it's about this serial killer, but it's in German, and I think it's called Golden Glove.
Okay.
And it's just so disturbing that I had to stop it. So if anyone likes those kind of movies, like it opens up with him sawing like women, just sawing women, but they don't really show it. They show like her legs in the doorway, and he's in like the other room with her, but like her legs are in it, and then you hear the saw and you see like the body moving a little. Like that's creepy. There's a lot of creepiness, so I couldn't watch the whole thing.
Right.
Anyway, what else? I watched the original. What, The Hills Have Eyes?
The original. Yeah.
I wanted to talk about From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay, let's do that.
Because I want to redirect it. It sounded like I'm redirecting. I'm not. It's the same thing. Because you said it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, the first time, I didn't know this movie existed.
I think we watched it together.
No. Dad had it on, and he had fallen asleep with it on. And I came out, and I didn't get a chance to ask him, like, what's this movie? And he would have been like, oh, The Thing. And he would have explained what it was. So I just see George Clooney in this suit with this other guy. And I'm like, this is like a businessy, like Robbie, action-y movie.
Yeah.
And then I like go back into my room and I come out like a little while later and it's still them in this bar. And I'm like, what is this stupid, like, Ocean's 11 shit?
Yeah.
And then the dancer turns into a vampire. And I'm like, what just happened? Like, that was like the best way to see it. Is to like not know what the hell.
That's how the first time I seen it was that way too.
Like, not know that it's about vampires at all. I didn't even know the name of it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I might have put the guide on and been like, okay, I don't know. From Dusk Till Dawn, you robbed something.
Really, yeah. If you don't know there are vampires coming, that doesn't tell you. That doesn't give it away. But no, I seen it the same way. And the only part of that movie that, like, legitimately, like, scared me, that hung with me, is when Fred Williamson turns into the vampire. Because he turns into a scary-ass vampire. Yeah. And I'm like, that's
I wouldn't mind watching that.
Kick your ass.
I mean, some of the vampires from the vampires don't look like... Cecil looks like a person.
Which one's Cecil?
Did I say the word Cecil just now? I didn't... Did I say Cecil?
That's what it sounded like.
No.
What did you say?
Some of the vampires, Cecil, look like... He's scary, but some of the vampires are I think scarier because they don't look like normal people. Like you could tell Fred Williamson was just a person, but some of these vampires are so decayed.
Yeah.
And there's like a sea of them, like just decayed.
Oh yeah,
people.
later on, yeah.
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 Oh boy, that's a good movie.
See, the ones that looked more humanoid creep me out more.
I guess they were creepy. What's the other one with the black hair? He's a scary vampire.
Oh, Tom Savini.
Yeah.
That's his real name, yeah.
Yeah.
He was... And he tried to hide it.
Yeah.
Remember that? He got the cut on his arm and he's covered his arm. Then there was some of that humor in there. That's that, what's the other director of that movie?
Who?
It was Tarantino and the other guy, Robert Rodriguez, who did the Machete movies.
Okay.
After that.
Yeah.
He was more like, he would inject humor into things. There was a little bit of humor in there. And that was the whole thing with Tom Savini, like, he notices he's bit, and he looks around all silly, and he like covers his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a big makeup artist.
Right.
He does all the makeup for all those movies. There was this movie, another one I didn't make it through, but it was this girl or this guy wanders into a empty, abandoned, old vaudeville theater. And he goes in, he's into it, and he sits down. And when he sits down, the whole theater starts to like come to life again, and the show starts. And this creepy girl walks out on the stage and starts telling him stories, and every story is a vignette.
Uh-huh.
And that was a movie that the first couple of vignettes, I remember I enjoyed them. Then it got like too gory.
Yeah.
I was like, this is stupid. Gory turns me off, and rapey turns me off.
Whoa. Get ready for this.
Okay.
This new movie.
Some rapey gore.
There's this new movie on Netflix called Perfection. And you know the two girls that are the leads. Oh, the one girl was in Get Out. The lead girl in Get Out.
Okay.
The girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's in it. And the girl from Dear White People. The lead girl from that.
Okay.
They're like the two lead people.
Okay.
And it starts off like this one thing. And then the trailer made it seem like this one thing. And I was like, this looks goofy and fun and really like creepy. And then it turns into real like rapey gore. So yeah, that kind of like, I just was kind of left with this like weird feeling after.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like, ugh.
Well, I seen like the original big rape gore movie was from the 70s called I Spit on Your Grave.
Ew.
Then they made it again.
Ew. Yeah, I've heard of it.
But the original one,
What did I say? Ew.
like they had a little class, I guess, about it. They didn't, the girl, she's a writer, goes to a summer house in some podunk town. All the hillbillies get her, but then one by one she enacts her revenge. Like it's really a revenge movie. And the first one was rapey and gory, but it was 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a way to disconnect. Like the blood doesn't look as real.
Yeah.
The camera wasn't as dynamic. Like the filming of these movies can add a lot more suspense to the situation. When you can't really exactly see what's happening. When that movie, the way that they filmed it back then, it was easier to separate yourself that this isn't real, and it didn't take you on this crazy journey. Mm-hmm. But not really into seeing the new ones. I seen that one, that was enough. But yeah, that's...
No, you should watch the Perfection. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
And I think that the girl from Get Out, they both did good, but the girl from Get Out, who's also in Girls.
Okay.
Have you ever watched Girls?
No.
That was I think the first one of the...
Is Mia Farrow in that?
Mia? How do you spell... Farrow.
Yeah, it's easy.
Oh, hold on. Hold up.
She was the wife who Woody Allen ended up leaving for Sun Yi.
But she was in his movies?
A bunch of his movies. All through the 80s, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm not
into the
seeing
90s.
anything about her being on the show Girls.
All right, I must have...
Dreamt that.
She must have done something.
But, I just feel like that actress, she's a good scary actress, I think. She was scary in Get Out.
The girl from Get Out, yeah. I could see that.
And I think that's fun that she was in this, funny, show about, college-age girls in New York. Feel good,
yeah.
but also, funny.
No, that's
and
range.
And now she's, doing these scary movies.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the Planet Shivers podcast. Thank Gabby for being on. It was a lot of fun talking to her about horror movies. We got more Halloween-y goodness coming up the rest of the month on Planet Shivers. You could find this episode and more on Spotify, Google Play, some other ones, Apple Podcasts, the podcast app, as well as YouTube with video accompaniment. So there's plenty of places to go check it out. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and to subscribe and like the Albert Shivers YouTube channel, where you could find the episodes of Planet Shivers as well as my new series Insomnia Art. Be well, take care of yourself, And, be a little spooky this month. What else are you doing?